Right, we need to talk about Valhalla. First of all, two things. This microphone isn't connected to anything. I did feel like vibes. It's actually from like Y.M.C.A. I've got a cup of tea because I'm still hungover, maybe just tired from the weekend because it's still a Monday. So let's get into this. Right, so Valhalla, if you didn't know, it shot in 2019. Everyone's quite sad that it happened. Weird timing because it was its 20th anniversary in 2020, or would have been if we actually had it open. And it was meant to only be closed for one season and reopened, reimagining it is what we were told. And then, despite the fact that COVID delays, everything, they still managed to hopefully communicate that much that people got annoyed about how long it was taking. You get to the end of the 2022 season and you see Amanda Thompson lose her mind on Twitter by the fact that it hadn't opened yet. And then the 2023 rolls around, we're told once again it's going to open, and we'll wait for a few months, and then we get the announcement of April. It opens a week later than they originally said, and people once again got annoyed. And it opened for technical rehearsals, where from what I've heard, it was very hit or miss. In fact, there's a video on this channel where Austin went and he experienced the technical rehearsals, but he got quite lucky heavily on his run-throughs. So, came out of technical rehearsals, officially opened, and it was still hit or miss. There were still issues with the ride, and there's still things that they haven't solved from the original Valhalla. So, was it really worth it? Now, you may be thinking this is about to be like a rant piece on Valhalla, but I can assure you it's not. I loved it when I did it. The first time I did it was in 2017, and I did it in 2018, I did it in 2019, and, I was disappointed it closed myself. I thought it still ran pretty well. I never really experienced any issues with it when I did it, so yeah, I didn't really see a need for it. However, other people will probably disagree with me. I waited till it was officially open to do it. That was a personal choice because I'd rather just see how it's intended. The thing I've realised is that Valhalla was known for being unreliable before with effects, and they've not changed that, despite the fact that they spent 3 years working on it. And I don't understand how that's happened. So I took the risk of knowing that it might not definitely open, and even if it is open, I might not get the best run through. I told myself I'd do a second one if it was not a great run through. And headed to Blackpool with a bunch of friends, as you've seen, just to give it a go. And I was so excited when it was opening about 12:15. And all 8 of us were ready to fill out a boat and experience this ride again, all for the first time for some other people. And I loved it. There was such a excited giddiness in me when I was waiting and I realised we were going to actually get on. And I was worried at the same time that I wasn't going to like it anymore. I didn't know if they were going to make it darker for like the promo they have done for it. But getting on the boat, the studio should have water in the boats, as you've probably heard already. And that's one of my first issues. How have they not come up with a solution? There's lots of water rides on the road that get you very wet. None of them are do what Valhalla does in terms of you have to vacuum water out of it. Surely they could come up with a better solution. I find it hard to believe that they still have to pump water out, and even then, it isn't great. So, we made the first turn. The waterfall in the entrance bit isn't working. I assume that's probably because they've seen the video that went around the other day. It didn't turn off on some people and it just soaked them all straight away. So fair enough, they've probably got an issue with that, with the timing of it. Not a deal breaker at the end of the day. Was a little nervous that there was no fire on the like dragon things outside, and the main waterfall wasn't working on like the facade. But you gotta like give these things a go, and you gotta go with an open mind. Going up the first lift hill, I was like, it's alright, yeah. It's still Valhalla, isn't it? But I liked like the skulls and everything, and like like voices like screaming. But this is my first issue. So everyone else has brought up about Valhalla. You can't hear what they're saying in any part of the ride. There's meant to be a storyline. And I don't understand how from when it first opened for technical rehearsals till now, months later, they've still not managed to have the audio right. And I think it's literally as simple as the music was just completely drowning out any audio. Like, I would have been able to hear it if they'd put the music a bit quieter. But they hadn't done that. And if the audio is at its max level, then turn the music down a bit. Because as great as that soundtrack is, and I do like it, and I do like the old one as well, to be fair, I'd want to hear what's actually being said, because why put a storyline in if no one can understand it? The other thing I realised though was I actually don't remember the layout of Valhalla at all. I always thought you had a drop straight away after that first lift hill, and then the second drop was the backwards one, and then you had like your big finale drop. That ain't true. So I was like waiting for like a drop to come at any moment, and then we get to like the turntable, and obviously we're really getting into spoiler territory here, but you don't go backwards anymore. And if there's one bit of audio I heard throughout the entire ride, it was something about turning back. Cool. I'd rather they still had it backwards, because I think it was such an effective drop. I believe they've done it for like operations, but Valhalla's such like that kind of ride away. I think people get too nostalgic about it, and I'm one of those people. And I'd rather sacrifice some operations for that little backwards drop. Right. Let's give this ride some praise now. It is still fantastic, and they have made changes to it. I think it's such an atmospheric ride now, especially thanks to the new soundtrack. And then on top of that, things have been updated. There are like new scenes, and I love it. I really love it. I was so happy coming off that ride because it was what I wanted. Because all I wanted really was them to just spruce up what they already had. I didn't want it to be reimagined, like they were saying. And I think when it comes to these kind of rides, these ones that like have such a reputation, it's almost impossible for the park to do it right. Because some people will say that they should change it all, and others will say they should keep it the same. I think they've got it right in that respect. It's new, but it's also very much the same Valhalla that we used to have. There are like I feel like the hot and cold rooms just aren't quite as like hot or cold, I guess, as they were before. But that's something I can live with, to be honest. And there's like a few things that I'm like, maybe we didn't need to add that. But this brings me to my other complaint, I guess, that I didn't really think of when I first did it, when I first came off of it. I thought, wow, fantastic. And I think that I really feel like needs to be talked about a bit more is, why was it shut for 3 years when I don't feel like loads has changed? Like, I get they've done some like stuff for like how it runs and like making things more cost effective and stuff. But like, and maybe this is unfair because like comparing it to another dark ride this year in Curse, they had 6 months from Jewel to Curse opening. And that ride feels like a completely different thing to what it used to be. Whereas Valhalla feels like the exact same ride, they just put some new figures in there and play some new music in there. And while that's not bad, I still understand how that's took the like 3.5 years or whatever it's been while that was closed. And I don't want to be critical of the park because I love it, but I just love an explanation as to what it was that made it take as long as it did because I just can't get my head around it. I don't I don't understand how it's been shut for like all this time. Like it's my first ride of the decade on Valhalla, and we're over a quarter of the way through the decade. In fact, we're probably over that. I don't know. Time passes too quickly these days, doesn't it? And yeah, I just think it's just odd to me. But anyway, we'll get back to talking about my actual ride experience. And carry on going through what I think of the ride, I guess, even though I'm not really talking about what actually happens on the ride, I guess. Okay, so we did that first drop, that what we used to be backwards drop, and it was fine, nothing too exciting. And then that like face shoots water at you, and I was like, that's a cool new effect, cool new thing that they put in, like that. And to be honest, it comes with a blur because I only did it one time. I was gonna do it a second time, and it broke down. I was like, I'm kind of hungry. I'll probably just leave it. So I, we went around. The vortex was working. That was really good to see again. We did a second drop, and I'm enjoying it. I am. And there's a moment where I feel a drop of hot water land on me. I'm like, okay, well, none of the water that's hit me so far has been warm, so I'm gonna assume that there's some fire that's working somewhere along this. And I was very relieved by that like idea. And coming up to that big finale drop, and I think the viewers that knew who were on there were very hopeful that you saw fire at the bottom of the drop. And I don't know if I just remember it wrong, but I don't remember fire being on the actual water itself. I just remember fire being around like the trough, like the ring of fire, as like people call it. But like there was like fire actually underwater, and I'm too stupid to understand how that works. But I was like, bloody hell, I'm about to go into some fire, and then I forgot because I forgot how water puts out fire as well. So the splash goes over, and luckily, I don't burn alive. That'd have been quite a story for you reporters. Like 8 enthusiasts burnt to crisp in Valhalla water ride. It's like a IT crowd, isn't it? When like, how do you like die in a fire at a water park? But anyway, great effect, and like such a effect. It has such a good effect to like stick in your brain, and like you remember it. Like seeing that, I was like such a like elated feeling. I was like so happy that I got it to happen. And then you go around, and the logs worked. And for those who I haven't either not met or not told, every time I did the old Valhalla, or old, because it's not really changed, Valhalla, I always thought they mistimed the logs and they were going to hit us because I'm just a bit anxious and stupid. So this time when I saw the logs, I was like, oh, I know they won't hit us. I kind of forgot that they actually splash you though. Just a bit of water comes over and I'm like, oh yeah. I was very happy, and then see the log go over your head, and it's just like it just felt Valhalla, like if that makes sense. There was also a thing I mentioned before, like the final drop. What was it? I don't remember. It was at some point these like things came out at you, but like I was able to see it before it moved, so I didn't get jump scared, which was a relief. But like it meant to be that kind of effect. But nevertheless, it's still a new thing that I thought was quite interesting and kind of stood out to me because they like kind of follow you around. And we're coming to the end of the ride, And it felt like it went much quicker than like it used to, but that could just be like, because I was just in the moment so much. And there's meant to be a finale fireball effect kind of thing that we didn't get, but I didn't know that was a thing, so I didn't really mind at the time. So, you know, most things worked, which was such an important thing. And like, to get that one run through where a lot worked and a lot went right means that my thoughts are a lot more positive. And to be fair, this could be a very different video if I wasn't happy with Valhalla on like the ride or two I did on it. But because I had such a good one ride on it, I'm overall coming out being very happy about it, and I'd now say it is the best dark ride in the country again. Just gone back straight to that #1 spot. Sorry, Wallace, I do love you, and you know, you have my heart, but there's something. It's on another level, Valhalla, and in a way, I think it's on another level to any other ride in this country at all, with the scale, like the grandeur, and everything that it does. There's such unique like visuals in there with like, and such unique effects, and a soundtrack that's so fitting, and it just feels so, it looks impressive when you look at it. And this almost like reputation of Valhalla that like no other rider in this country I think can really like match. I think the closest we have is Nemesis, with like it's like revered around the world. Like you'll hear people from America be like, oh, I can't wait to try Nemesis because of how like infamous it is for what it does. And I feel like, you know, Valhalla's that kind of thing. So yeah, like I was so happy when I came off. But, and this could be the biggest first world problem ever to exist, I didn't come off that wet. Now, that's a weird thing to complain about, especially when I only brought one like set of clothes, so like I didn't really have anything to change into. And I was wearing like a poncho, ones that you can buy, like the quite thick ones at the park, and maybe that was just like really effective, but I don't remember ponchos being that effective on Valhalla before. So I came off and there was like one big wet thing down here, and like other than that, like my hair was wet and that was it. So maybe I was lucky. Maybe the poncho was just really good. Or maybe Valhalla's maybe like drier than it used to be. I don't know. Okay, so at this point I finished my tea, and it was a great cup of tea. Yorkshire tea is the best kind of tea, just so you know. And I also didn't realise how much I actually had to say about Valhalla, where this could essentially be its own video. So I might actually just put this up separately. I don't know yet, because I ended up not filming Southport because a lot of reasons. I'm so happy Valhalla's back open. I loved it. We did it every time we went, and I have missed it a lot. More than I think I actually realised, really, because it's been so long. And I think if there's one ride that like I think can really say what like Blackpool is about, it is Valhalla. It just tries to be something so big and so exciting, and it may fall short in some places as a result, but it's always about the idea of trying to do something to the best you can. And I just think that's what the park's all about. Like, they may not have the biggest budget and they may make mistakes, but they still try and put in the best stuff they can and maintain things so that they run the best they can. And I think from that perspective, you've got to like accept how good Valhalla is, because it's not a Merlin park, it's not a big budget that they have. Ultimately, this is a family run park that, you know, has just gone through COVID, and they're able to run this ride and like update it while updating a bunch of other rides as well, with Grand National, Big Dipper, Big One, you know, all of them getting new tracking. They're like, you know, doing all sorts. You know, I could only open 5 years ago, and you know, there's already rumours of another ride maybe coming soon. So the fact they can pull this off is incredible in my opinion. And I'd love to see Merlin try and compete with that kind of level of ride. As much as I love Curse and credit for Alton Towers for how quickly they were able to redo that ride and make it as good as it is, it's not on that level. And I'd love to see him at like Fort Park or Chester, even at Towers still, put in that dark ride, that huge scale dark ride that is just something else. Ultimately, we don't get great weather in this country typically, and indoor rides are quite useful for when the weather's not great. That's why Blackpool's amazing. When you think about the rides you can do at Blackpool when the weather's not great, you've got like 5 dark rides. You've got Derby Racer, you can go around Impossible if you want, and there's probably a couple others that I'm not even thinking of that you can probably do. Like Dora, I guess you probably get away with that in the rain. And we should have more indoor rides, indoor areas, because I think it'd be better for UK parks, better for the guest experience, and just give us more dark rides, because dark rides are so good. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for watching. I actually can't believe how long I've actually talked about Valhalla for, as I've already said. So I might just watch it straight as soon as I've recorded it, because yeah, this is actually quite long, it turns out. I don't know if I've really actually reviewed the ride. I've more just given like random thoughts about my one experience on it. And I know other people have given more in-depth reviews and have done it more times than me. But I had a lot of thoughts that I want to get off my chest about this ride. And just talking to a camera for however long, it probably really scratches that itch for me. So I hope you've enjoyed me just talking to you for ages. And I'm probably going to whack this up and then whack up the vlog like soon after, just because might as well. And yeah, if you've not already seen, Austin's uploaded a POV of Mako, his first ride on it. And at some point, the Florida content will start once he's back. I keep forgetting like when he's back, so I can't know for certain. But he'll be back at some point soon, I believe. And there'll be content from Florida. So we might be going to like end up doing like videos every like 2 videos a week. Or we might just really delay everything, because my god, like it's gonna be so many videos if it's like vlogged as much as we've talked about. So good luck with that. There's gonna be way too much of us at some point in time. Yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know your thoughts on Valhalla if you've done it. And if you've not, I'm sorry, I've probably spoiled everything. If you like me just talking at you, it's probably like a one-off. But anyway, you can subscribe, because I think our channel deserves your support, because we've done some of the most stupid videos anyone's ever done, and we've got more stupid videos coming. And like the video, even though I will probably never do anything like this ever again. Thank you, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.